Alright, welcome back y'all to the Jackson RR3 EMG restoration video thingamabob. So I've done quite a bit off camera in the past couple of hours. This is day 2 of me working on this, and I tried to do some stuff just to save some camera battery life and storage and all that stuff. I'm glad I did, because I did run into a couple roadblocks that wouldn't have been worthwhile content in the first place. So got our little crack mostly repaired there. I'm gonna let it sit for 24 hours before we go to actually putting a string on it, but it feels pretty rock solid. I didn't end up getting any putty. Couldn't find anything that I was happy with color-wise. It was either too plywood looking or too dark, so I just forewent that, filled it in with glue, and it's not perfect, but it'll hold. And by the time we get the locking nut and everything down, I'm pretty confident in that. I'll also tighten down the screw once we get everything held in position. So let's talk about the bitch of this project so far. Move the mouse, don't want to crush that. So one little magical wire that's appeared since last time is this. It might help if I center the camera a little bit more, because yeah, live camera work is a hard thing, you know. So yeah, this was a bitch, and you can probably still see some sawdust because I didn't clear all of it 100%. I'll try to get a damp cloth and get the rest of it. Marred up the finish a little bit on the outside there. Not that I care, it's going to be covered up, but this did not go as smoothly as I'd hoped. So I went to the store, got the wood glue for that, and I looked for a longer 1/4 inch drill bit. They didn't have it. Even being a hardware store, they just had nothing that was longer than what I already had, which was awesome. So I decided I was going to gamble on something that I thought, hey, this could be useful elsewhere. And this is a kind of a flexible drill bit. I guess it has like just a shit ton of U-joints in it or something. As you can see, you spin one side and it does the other. So I was like, oh, cool. And this was like the only model they had, so I decided, you know what, I know it'll work with regular screwdriver tip, might as well try it out. And unfortunately, it has to have kind of the detent there to make it work, because it's just like, ball joint type deal, which means it doesn't really hold any drill bits all that well. My 1/4 inch fits, but it doesn't have any torque on it, making it pretty much paperweight. So that's awesome. So wasted $10 for this application. Hopefully it'll come in handy at some point. So that was shot. I was able to drill it far enough here and then kind of rummage it around that direction to the point where I could get a regular wire ran through it. So I ended up stripping off the shrink we had here, and then taking out the individual leads, which just kind of pop out with these metallic inserts, aren't too hard there, and fed it through, rewrapped the ground, and hope to God that it still works and that I didn't short out anything in the process. So there's the neck pickup, which is definitely not the most critical of the two. The bridge is, and that one's the easier to put in, which is fortunate. Of course, also have the master volume, master tone. I'll go digging around for an extra pot with that one. I might just go ahead and use the original, like, American long shaft pot I had on there, just to make sure it counts, or make sure it matches, and call it a day. Because the more I think about it, I think that would hurt my OCD even worse if I had a mismatched knob there. So that's the plan as far as that goes. And I think because the last hour and a half has been kind of a pain in the ass, that I'm just going to go ahead and mount these pickups, get the pickup rings in, and then we'll worry about the output and all that good stuff momentarily, which I'm hoping we have enough room in the cavity for in the first place, with all the buses and the little extra goodies that come with the EMG system. So we got this, one of these, I think it's the H4 I put them in, has the rest of the wiring we need, because I do need to steal one piece of the kit, and then the rest of it is basically up for grabs as far as I'm concerned. And we'll run pickup lead number 2, which looks much better than pickup lead in the neck position after I butchered it. And apologies for the background noise with the air conditioning going off, because we're alternating between springtime and winter part 4 here, and yeah, I'm kind of dying even with the door open. It's a little much. And I went ahead and enclosed all that back because there's just no telling. I guess, you know, it's probable that my neighbors think I shoot porn in here or something, but whatever. Here's the part where we get to fight the angle of our pickup covers. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but they are slightly, ever so slightly angled for what I assume are Les Paul type guitars. They got a very slight curvature on them that doesn't really matter. I can hardly even see it. So I'm just going to mount them in what I believe to be the most logical orientation and call it a day. No reason not to use our old mounting hardware. It worked fine, so I'll just steal those and keep the EMG ones in the package. Just in case I didn't make this abundantly clear in the last video, I will now, just in case any of you didn't catch the first one, which I'd recommend you watch for the whole point and backstory of this anyway. What I'm doing here is by no means an intelligent investment. You know, the best way to overall alter the sound of guitar, electric guitar that is changing the pickups. But you know, we're working with a used, not a high-end model of Jackson guitars in the first place, and to invest, you know, 70-ish bucks per pickup is not like the, you know, the smartest decision, I feel like, from a purely monetary standpoint. But again, this is one of those things that's a passion project and reviving a guitar that I love playing, and just kind of gives it a little bit more usability and life for me. Okay, that's what I thought. Green goes to the left. So if you're going to comment like, oh, you could have bought this guitar for less money, I'm aware. You can buy like a $500 Jackson that has really decent passives. Like I played one of the new actual, you know, Randy Rhoads shaped V's, and they sounded really good. Really impressed for the money. But this is, again, just kind of like one of my babies that I want to keep jamming on because it's fun. And there's something I've always found attractive, whether it be any other types of gear or even music composition, of just giving yourself limitations and making yourself work with not necessarily subpar, but just, you know, not having the most expensive guitar or the best amplifier for the job. It just induces a lot of creativity in a way. At least it does for me. I'm not saying 100%, but it's possible that the threads just don't match. I don't know why they would do that. By God, they don't. Okay. Fair play, EMG. So, God, just keep smacking the camera. If you needed any parts of that wiring kit that I am not going to be using, I'll be stealing these, so sorry for that. Holy shit, that is tight. Don't care for that, quite honestly. But hey, I know it'll stay. This is something that I just cannot conceive why you would design it with a different. Maybe it's the Chinese ones that are screwed up. Maybe it's not. Maybe these are the standard ones, and the pickups I ordered were the weird ones. But I could have swore they didn't come with any hardware, and I just swapped them over. So I don't know. I'm not 100% familiar with like different standards on every part of the guitar. I don't know if there's like a Japanese diameter in millimeters, an American diameter in inches on pickup holes and rings, and that's sort of crap because I just don't care because I don't build them. I gotta say, I do dig the chrome EMG logo with the rest of the chrome. It's kind of almost borderline gaudy, but it's kind of classy. I think it'll look gaudy once I put the gold EMG on there. That was not in the promotional pictures. They said EMG Hertz on the promotional. And I'm a dumbass, forgot to turn off the camera on till like halfway through it, so we're down to 50% when we should be down to like 90, but speed run. And then green again, and then we'll do the little fun flipperoo. Hopefully we won't have to strip out a insert here to get it to work. What the hell? Come in, man. Don't break off the leads. It's always something with these sort of like dummy-proof, quick connect systems, whether it be pickups or otherwise, that seems like it's always more trouble than it should be. Okay, side one went in a little bit more easily than the other. Come on, baby. Let's just pretend that that logo is not gold. I don't think it's actually going to bug me when it's all put back together. The thing that bugs me most about this guitar right now, as far as thematically speaking, is the rosewood fretboard. Just doesn't fit. You can stain it if I, do a little bit of buffering. That might be a fun video. Staining a fretboard on this, maybe even my LTD 8-string, since they're both bolt-ons, and taking the neck off wouldn't be that big of a deal. Tape it off. Let me know if you want to see that video. I don't particularly feel like putting ebony or chocolate or whatever color we go with stain in an apartment complex, but we can make something work. Boy, I hope I can get this to work first try. I would be so happy if I can get this to work first try. You have no idea. I think it's wishful thinking though, because of this jack. If it weren't for that, I'd be like 99.9% confident, even after tearing that off, because I didn't really do anything electrically. And guess who's missing a screw? Because of course, find it in a second. Maybe it's in here. Am I stupid and put it in the wrong one? Doesn't look like it. Awesome. Oh, I'm not missing screws. Put in the wrong ones. I angrily throw down this box. I put in the cavity cover screws because I'm a dumb. Actually, it's just because I've been awake for too long. I didn't get enough sleep last night because I was also having a conversation with someone, and yeah, just didn't want to go to bed like a good boy. But at least I made a discovery today, and it doesn't help you all whatsoever, but I thought I'd at least give you a little bit of behind the scenes info. I discovered that my apartment complex lets you rent month by month for a relatively low premium over the regular rent. We're talking like less than 10%, which is kind of abnormal for some places, for at least other places I've lived. And even so, you're not like, it's literally month by month. There's no like there is like a 3-month and 6-month thing available, but it's basically as long as you want to live in here within 4 weeks time frame is how long you can live here, which explains so much of the moving and the random selection of neighbors that I've had upstairs and in other places. But it finally answers the question of why the hell I've had such a large spread of noise above me, ranging from quiet as a mouse to the elephant running away from the mouse. Got our output leads all nice and tidy there. Let's go ahead and try to get this bus set up and hope and pray to the gods that everything works out. And first things first, I'm going to assess just how screwed we may or may not be with this 3-way switch, which I assume is all going to bolt to there. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think I can get this to work. It's going to be nothing short of a miracle in many aspects, but I'm thinking we might not be in too bad of trouble. I'm about 75% sure, oh, it's still wet, let's not do that, that I've got wire strippers somewhere. Jeez, come on, man. somewhere in my toolbox, but I just do not feel like searching through all that crap. You know what? I'm just going to call this whole series Banging the Camera, because it's funny. And I'm going to actually take this back off now that I see that this could lead to potential disaster of scraping a printed circuit board and having to waste a perfectly good volume pot just because I was being stupid. Oh, I got some nice corrosion going on there. Come on, autofocus. You see that? There we go. Now you can kind of see it. Little green going on there. Nothing. No, we can't just, wipe back off. It's fine. Yeah, that'll go in like that, and then we'll take the other black leads into there. And this can basically only go right next to the toggle switch, which I think I'm going to have to do an up-down configuration instead of left-right to make it fit within the actual plate there, but not the end of the world because all my other guitars are like that, more or less. Okay, ground's in. Hooray. Let's hope that the rest of it goes that easy. And I gotta remember, let's see, ground faces this way, that means this is neck, which means this has got to go under here. Try not to break any solder points, that would be bad time since I don't have a freaking solder knife in here. Well, we were rocking 19% battery life because I'm stupid and didn't turn it off. I should buy a spare for this, just be able to swap it out. I don't do that many long ass shoots like this. If I do, most of the time they're half on the computer and half on, actual face cam stuff. So that's why I just use like a photography camera, not a legitimate big boy video camera. Okay, I think that'll work. You gotta position it down. Even if it floats down. Oh no, we broke a fucking solder. Why? Is that output? That's output. Son of a bitch. Bob. Yeah, let's not poke the lens. That would be preferable. Okay. Well, that puts a little bit of rain in our parade. Nothing we can't, super fix or, easily solder back if I just had heat. Well, balls. We might be taking an extra trip tomorrow. I don't want to have to use a soldering iron in this place, but I might be left with zero choice. Fortunately, we can still test this. We just hold this to it and bang on the pickups. We'll be able to tell if we've got our stuff right. Number two, that will be most likely what's going to kill us is this. So we'll set that aside for now. It's a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. We'll put her back like so. Yeah, we'll just have it sit in there like that. That looks fine. Oh, this is not nearly as magical as I thought it was. I thought this was just like some space age grounding technology that had like a silicon chip or something in here where I don't know what the fuck I thought, to tell you the truth. This has to go to the actual ground wire, which makes so much more sense. What am I gonna do with my hand? Oh yeah, I'm a macho man. Look at that. I hope no one's watching any of this for a guide or tutorial, because this is fucking useless for that. Since we have so much room anyway, I'm just gonna cut them. No turning back now. Maybe, just maybe, my recommendation would be, if you're going to buy a set of EMGs and you have absolutely no experience doing what I'm doing on here, you might just want to put a little bit more research in it than I did, because I just didn't care, to tell you the truth. It's like, I'll figure it out if there is any problems. Guess what? There was problems. So if you don't have like a Les Paul or say LTD or ESP Eclipse or any 2-volume, 2-tone control guitars where the cavities run just exactly like EMG plans them to, then there's going to be a little bit more legwork than the instructions would imply. So just be prepared for that. Not a big deal for me. And I don't care to bang the shit out of this guitar with screwdrivers and everything else. And this one's gonna be real fun. So the camera may very well die in the middle of this, but by the time we come back, I will at least have that wire together and more shit plugged in. That's the plan. So one last thing, these bastard coated bastards with bastard filling soldered this wire at this point. Come on, focus. Come on, man, find it. There you are. So I can't split it any further, which means I can't get a damn cap on it. And if I had two more and not just one more of those crimping deals, I would just use that, but I don't. So kind of stuck right now at either unsoldering that, as I need to unsolder or resolder the jack anyway, so that's on the list, or finding some crimping things at the store as well. So oh man, oh look at that, we might be in business yet. I might be able to work with that actually. So yeah, all that's for tomorrow though. I'm wiped. I'm gonna clean this up and call it a day, and we'll be back shortly. If this isn't the most janky scene, I'm not sure what is. So I went and bought a soldering iron because I'll use it eventually. Again, I know I will. I mutilated one of these quick connects, and I think we might be okay. And if not, I've got another one just in case, and plenty more lengths of wire on this going to the output jack. Got our crimp lead there, or ground there, and we got our leads going on our pickups right there. I fixed the brake there on the three-way switch, and if everything is correct about all of that, I should be able to plug it all in and get some sound out of it. I'm not 100% sure on any of it, to tell you the truth, but hey, let's go for gold. I think we might not be as screwed as I thought we were. So that's no guitar plugged in. Guitar plugged in, little background noise, which is normal. Getting output there. Definitely getting output there. Let's see if volume tone worked. Yep, getting some feedback there. Oh, well that's no bueno. Although, I can't tell if that's jack related or not. It might partially be jack related. Yeah, it's definitely something ain't 100% right with this. And that gets rid of most of it. So I'll reevaluate my ground there, but I think everything else works. Which is kind of freaking amazing, considering how much I butchered of this. So I'll put one... Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that ain't supposed to happen. Definitely something with the ground. Well, that answers that question. Because I have a borderline hoarding problem, I actually keep like a shit ton of these undesirable strings if I'm, changing out or don't like them, or I break like 2 or 3 and just keep the rest for applications like this. And I think I just had the ground in the wrong spot. Come on, focus camera. Focus! Come on, it ain't even far away. It's that one. Because I wasn't reading the directions, and I mean, that's a guitar sound. Neck, center, bridge. No real noise. More so than, what's on the amp normally, so I think that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and button everything up and make sure it works after it, and put some real strings on it, and we'll get to testing.